Thank you for tuning in. This is the Rice Crypto Show, and I'm your host, Rice. And on today's episode, I am joined by Chandresh from the Matic Network. He is the VP of Operations and Marketing. Now, this is actually going to be my second time interviewing somebody at Matic. My first interview was with Sandeep, and that was from a few months ago. And I'm going to have links down below and above so you can check out that interview. And I definitely encourage you to check that one out. But in this interview, I wanted to get updates, news, talk about the mainnet that's launching, and also talk about some different projects that are building on the Matic blockchain, like Decentraland, Sandbox, and Somnium Space. Now, I do want to let you know in advance, this interview took place a few weeks ago, and we experienced a lot of internet problems, and that's to be considered with everything that's happening around the world and everybody trying to use the internet all at the same time, especially when you're trying to connect with people on the other side of the world. So with that being said, I did do as much as I could to try to clean up the audio in my edit, and I let the Matic crew review it. I was going to redo the interview, but they thought it was worth releasing, and I'm going to go ahead and do that, and that's what you're going to find in today's episode. Now, in a few weeks, I do want to try to do a follow-up, and hopefully we'll have a better internet connection. And like I said, the edit, I did try to fix as much as possible. There is a lot of valuable information in today's interview, so I definitely encourage you to watch it, but just be aware of those technical difficulties in advance. But before we get into it, this is your first time ever checking out any of my content, I do encourage you to explore my channel. Make sure you subscribed, smash that like button, hit the notification bell so you can stay up to date with my videos as they come out, and be sure to follow me on LBRY, where I post exclusive content, and I'm going to have links down below for my LBRY channel. So we're just going to go ahead and get right into today's video. All right, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, today I am joined by Chandresh, who is the VP of Operations and Marketing with Matic. Man, I appreciate you coming on the show today. How you doing?
Yeah, thanks a lot, man, for inviting us for this interview. And yeah, the situation is tough for everyone in the complete world. But yeah, at Matic, we have been doing great. We are, following the work from home policy from a very, very longer period of time when the situation got, when everyone got to know that in China this thing is happening. So everything well on our part, but yeah, heart goes out for what's happening in the world. And again, thanks a lot for inviting me.
Oh yeah, man, and I really appreciate you taking the time to do the interview. I will mention that I did do an interview with Sandeep a few months ago, and I will have links down below so people could check that first interview out. And I definitely encourage people to check it out. Now, I do want to let people know that, with everything going on around the world and so many people using the internet, we're having a little bit of internet difficulties during this interview. So just please bear with us. He's in India, I'm here in the United States, and we're trying to connect and trying to make this work. So if we're having any issues with cameras like logging up and somebody's sound getting screwed up, we apologize. I'll try to do some editing for that. But if you don't mind kind of giving us a little background on who you are, Chandresh, and how you got involved in crypto, and then we'll talk about Matic.
Yeah, sure. So basically, I am a computer science engineer. And I have worked with a product-based company for 2 years on the software side. Then after that, I decided to do MBA. So I have done my MBA in marketing from NITI Mumbai, which is one of the top 15 colleges out of India. After that, I was sort of heading the growth part for Vodafone. But during that time in late 2016, I came across this blockchain technology, and I started doing my research. So after doing my research for 3-4 months, I realized, okay, this is the next big thing which is going to happen in the world. And during that time, I started researching about different projects which were coming up. In 2017 early, we saw that many infrastructure based projects came into the market. So that was the time when people realized in 2017 when CryptoKitties came and the complete Ethereum network what was totally congested. So that was the time when I started getting involved into crypto very heavily. and I was consulting few projects at that time on different things, and basically, so I was sort of an influencer in India, and this is that way I got connected with Sandeep. Sandeep told me that they are working on these things, and I got very much interested. So I was sort of working with Sandeep from a very early stage when the idea of Matic Network came into the picture. Then going forward, after doing a lot of investment in crypto, and after working with many people, consulting many different projects, I decided that this is a time to join, the blockchain space for full time. So yeah, Sandeep has been telling me that why don't you join us? So at last I took a decision. Okay, why should I miss this opportunity? This is the way I I started working with Matic Network from I guess May 2019.
Okay, very cool. And I'm definitely impressed with the team behind Matic. I mean, everybody has a pretty interesting background, and you guys are pulling together all your resources. So now, for someone who's unfamiliar with Matic, just a quick, just could you quickly describe to somebody who isn't familiar with what Matic is in your words?
Mhm. Yeah, so see, considering, I mean, I already mentioned that if you take, so Ethereum is the most adopted blockchain. It has around 2,700 dApps in the blockchain ecosystem, and Ethereum is in the front who is driving the blockchain adoption. But obviously, the problem with Ethereum is that you need to spend good amount of money for doing a transaction, and the transactions are also on a slightly slower side on Ethereum. So what at Matic Network we did, we are doing basically, so you can say, like, Vitalik also mentions there are three major parameters. First one is being decentralization, second one is being security, third one is being scalability. So at single time you can majorly focus on two parameters. So Ethereum currently, which are most important ones, focusing on decentralization, and again they are focusing on security. So where Matic Network comes in picture. So now what Matic Network is doing, we are a plasma based layer 2 solution. So we are building on top of Ethereum, and what we are doing, we are able to do 65k transactions per second, and we have 1 second block time. So ultimately what we are doing, we are focusing on the scalability part, which will ultimately help the complete ecosystem. There are many games and many other use cases which require the network to be faster to actually use it. So with Matic, all these problems can be sorted in coming future.
Very cool. I mean, I definitely like the idea of a side chain trying to alleviate the fees, the gas fees that people are having to pay with dApps. I mean, unfortunately, I mean, you have to have some workarounds with the system, and I do like what Matic is doing. Can you also explain to people how the plasma technology is being utilized in the side chains that you guys have created?
Yeah, so basically, see, plasma is a set of rules. So, see, what is the best part about this? That with plasma securities, now everyone asks. There are multiple chains like proof of stake based chains, layer one solutions. Their security is totally dependent on proof of stake. But with Matic Network, what is the advantage? As we are using the plasma technology, also we are securing our network not only with the POS chain but also with the plasma securities. So how does the plasma securities works actually? So basically, if let's say if this is a Ethereum chain, this is a Matic chain. If you want to utilize the power of Matic chain, basically what you will do, you will transfer your assets from Ethereum chain to Matic chain. Now what happens? Your assets are actually getting locked in Ethereum chain, and now the same amount of asset are being generated on Matic chain. Now you can do any number of transactions, anything you want to do on Matic chain. And ultimately what will happen when you, so whatever transactions are happening here, we are sending the checkpoint to Ethereum chain. So the complete state of the side chain is maintained on main chain also. Now when you want to exit, so obviously Ethereum chain has all the updated state of all the addresses which are there on Matic chain on Ethereum chain also. So ultimately when you want to exit, so with the help of plasma securities, that becomes very easy.
Very cool. And that's a good explanation. And, I'll definitely include some B-roll footage that will help people to read along with some of the things from the website to incorporate some of what we're talking about. Now, before we started, we had mentioned because I was asking you a little bit about the mainnet launching. You guys were supposed to launch the mainnet on March 31st of this year. And obviously, there's been a little bit of delays considering everything that's going on around the world. So do you mind discussing a little bit further about what's going on with the mainnet launch?
Yeah, so see, guys, obviously, everyone know that COVID-19 situation has hit everyone very badly. So currently, with Matic, we are in staking incentivized testnet. So what is staking incentivized testnet? So staking incentivized testnet event is like that you are testing out your network completely with a set of validators. So that part has been, we planned it in 3 stages, where stage 0 was about setting up your node. Stage 1 was about, testing the network, and, actually users can go and stake. Actually users can go, validators can stake, delegators can go and delegate their token, the reward distribution. So every testing is going on in stage 1, and we are just reaching the completion of stage 1. In stage 2, what we are going to do, in stage 2, we will have validators who will try to attack the network and see if there are any problems in the network. So with counter stake going forward, what we planned initially, that this should be over by the end of March. But ultimately, when the situation outbroke, we were sort of dependent on many validators who are also a part of ecosystem. And what we realized, that it is taking slightly longer time for different validators, that whenever we are updating anything on our testnet, then we expected that the turnaround time should be much quicker, but we realized that it is taking slightly longer than what we anticipated. So not like, we have not extended the deadline by too much. We asked the community for 3 or 5 weeks of time, and which community accepted very positively also. Okay, because this is totally understandable. You can't expect someone to contribute on a very larger scale if they are facing such tough situation. So considering that, we have taken slightly more time of 3 to 5 weeks, and we are actually on a very positive note on that. The stage 1 is getting over in, I guess, in next 1 2 days. Then we are getting ready for launch of stage 2. Stage 2 is going to be the last stage of our counter stake. And I mean, as soon as the counter stake is successfully tested and the event is successful, we are ready to go ahead with our mainnet launch. So we are expecting that in mid May, maybe probably we might be able to ship the fully functional mainnet, the version 1 of it. Yeah.
Okay. And that makes sense, man. I appreciate you being transparent with that. I mean, it's unfortunate that what I've found a lot of people and projects in the cryptocurrency and blockchain space, it's hard to really put a date on things because you never know what's going to happen with situations. I mean, we're dealing with limited number of developers and coders, and you never know what kind of situations we're going to have around the world that's going to affect how people work. So, I mean, people definitely need to take in consideration during this time period, especially, that, there's going to be issues and some people aren't going to meet deadlines they set. And that's why, like I said, there's just a lot of companies that aren't even setting deadlines. They're just trying to tell people what we're working on, and we're going to try to shoot to have this out as soon as possible, but not really giving anybody those dates because of so many problems. Because, I mean, how many companies in the crypto space have really kept to every single deadline when you really think about it? It's hard. It's really hard when you consider all this technology that's going on. So, and I appreciate your company, your community, everybody being transparent and just basically saying exactly what's happening and not trying to make up some excuse as to why you guys aren't doing it, because people make mistakes and stuff happens, unfortunately. So I wanted to ask, what can we look forward to with the roadmap of Matic and for the rest of this year? Once we get mainnet launched and going, what's the plans beyond that, and anything you want to share coming in the future?
See, first of all, I would again like to, thank our complete community, because everyone was expecting that this will happen on this time. But our community really respects us, respects the transparency which we bring into the system. So I'm really glad that we have such a vibrant and such understanding community with us. And we always try from our end that we won't disappoint our community in any way. Whatever we promise, we deliver it. Now, with Mainnet, it is going to be very much interesting. You might have seen Mainnets coming in without any traction and everything. But if you see what work we have been doing, so this is not something we are preparing just now. If you go through our announcements channels and you read through our tweets, you will realize that we have done around 100 plus hackathons in India only. Now this number is very huge. Arranging one hackathon is a very bigger task, but we have done 100 plus hackathons. Now what happens with hackathons? You see that India has around 1.3 billion population, which is a very huge number, and we have many good developers also. Now, what we are doing, we are introducing blockchain to all these new developers who are ultimately going to, if ultimately they are going to build some companies, build some dApps, and there are many good projects which are coming out of this hackathon. So from start, we were very clear that we don't want to be a technology company which doesn't work for adoption. Our BD team is putting day in day out to sort of bring the adoption when we go live. So because of that, if you see that currently, if you see on Ethereum, we have around 2700 dApps. Then we have Tron, then we have EOS with around 300 or 400 dApps. On Matic, I can, if I have to state a number, then we are still to go into mainnet, but we already have around 60 or 70 plus projects which are exploring Matic. And once we go live with our mainnet, they are going to deploy their solution on Matic, and around 100 plus companies which we are in talks with currently. So that is those numbers are very huge. It actually with this number, Matic already becomes the most adopted layer 2 blockchain. And if you sort all the blockchains, then we might come on number 4. So it is a very big thing that a project is launching, and it is having so much adoption already with its chain.
Well, what I'll say, Chandresh, is, I don't try to cover projects that don't offer real true value. I'm really big about making sure that I'm covering something that has real world use case and just isn't something just to try to make some money. And I really believe in what the Matic project have been doing. Since you guys had your IEO, you've been very open with everything. When I interviewed Sandeep, it was around that same time period, there was a big sell-off and the price of Matic had went down. Sandeep was very transparent and explained what had went on, explained what happened within the community. And, and that's what I appreciate. I appreciate honesty and transparency, because if we're talking about decentralization and we're talking about open ledger systems, we got to kind of compute the way that we work in the same kind of environment and system. So that's why I'm really big on what you guys are doing, man. I'm very, very supportive of Matic, and I like what you guys are doing, and I like the use case.
Yeah, totally agree with you on that point. Just to add on to that, so whatever has happened, that situation everyone understood. We saw all the partners, all the projects which are working with us, coming on Twitter and talking positive things about us. So that really boosts our confidence. Now the second thing which I would like to tell the complete community, the complete Rice Crypto community also, if you go through our announcement. So recently on 26th April, we are going to complete 1 year of our IO. So obviously we had a good number of tokens unlocked, which will be happening for team. And we had around 12% of our total token unlock, which was expected to happen. But within the team and everything, we took this decision that we are not taking those unlocks, and all the tokens will go into staking. So we just released the tokens of the advisors, which were obviously advising us from 1 year, and they have been doing great job on their part. So they have only taken the unlock. Apart from that, out of 12%, no unlock has been taken. So that is a a very big booster. And also, what we have done in last time, we saw that many people got confused that what happened. Some people were claiming that they transferred tokens and everything, but we didn't actually. So with this, we have also launched one initiative of transparency of token movement, where we have shared one Google spreadsheet which is shared with everyone, and whatever token unlock, whatever token movement which is going to happen from the foundation address or the main address, all the details will be updated there, so that everyone is always aware, and you have one single source of information which you can trust on. So I mean, we are taking a lot of initiatives on this front, to be honest, so that our complete crypto community, our complete followers are totally aware what is happening with us. And team not and the token unlock, which everyone was worried about, and that being not happening, is also a very big booster, and proves that complete Matic team has good trust, and we are in this for a very long term game.
Cool, man. I really love that. And I wasn't, in case there was a communication error, I wasn't trying to say anything negative at all about Matic. I really appreciate the fact that you guys have been very open and transparent all the way around, considering every action that you guys are taking. And it's very important to do that. And we definitely need second layer solutions on the Ethereum blockchain. I can't say that we necessarily need those second layer solutions on Bitcoin, but I definitely could see where we could use it on the Ethereum network, especially when you look at the Ethereum Enterprise Alliance, which is the largest conglomeration in the world. And so one more thing I wanted to ask you is, can you share with us some of the projects that are going to be building on Matic and what we can expect from other projects once Mainnet launches?
Yeah, so see, I mean, we have already announced a good number of projects like Decentraland. Everyone is aware they are doing a very awesome job. If you have not been to their metaverse, you should definitely go and check it out. Decentraland is doing great job, to be honest.
Can I pause you for a
Recently,
second? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I'm a big fan of Decentraland. So Decentraland is using the Matic blockchain?
Yeah. Obviously, so we are the partners from the starting. That was there, that Decentraland is working with Matic, and to name, just so that you mentioned you are a fan of Decentraland. If you look in the metaverse space, I guess there are three major projects which are there in the market. One is Decentraland, second one is Sandbox, third one is Somnium Space. So all three of them are on Matic now. So that is a huge booster. Recently, I saw on Twitter that someone was mentioning that Matic has become the king of the metaverse or the VR world. So yeah, I mean, that is a very big booster for us, and we understand how big these things are going to get in near future. So a very positive thing for us. Decentraland is there, and recently, Block TV covered two dApps. Two of the dApps which are building on Matic. One of them is Spring Roll. Again, it is a team which is coming out of India. They are working on, in simple terms, you can say they are building LinkedIn on blockchain, where you can have your profiles verified. So apart from that, there are, I can keep naming, there are around a very big number of projects which are building, and we are in touch. Like Sapien is also there, which is like social networking on blockchain. Then Trade Stars is there, which is like NFT based celebrity cards you can trade and everything. So there are good number of dApps, like CoinFox is there, Dog Block is there, Bankit is there. I mean, I can keep on naming. There are so huge list. If you want, I can share the list. Yeah.
That's super impressive. And unfortunately, man, it's really hard for me as a content creator, since I'm interviewing and covering so many projects, to keep up with every single aspect of what's happening. And I just had no clue about, I've been a big fan of Decentraland, and I actually was a kind of a beta tester when they first started out, and got me a little avatar and everything out of the whole situation. So it's cool to learn that. And I've been learning a little bit more about Sandbox. I've been trying to check more into the VR aspect, the gaming aspect. So I'm excited about this, man. We're going to have to do another follow-up as soon as you guys get Mainnet going, and kind of get some more updates on what's happening. I'm really looking forward to this. So before we wrap things up with this interview, Was there anything else that you want to talk about before we wrap things up?
Yeah, no, so I mean, yeah, there are so many exciting things coming up on our end. Like, everyone is expecting Matic Mainnet, everyone is expecting Coinbase. I just want to, end this on a note that many in Matic community also, and looking at the complete world economy, people were wanted to understand how are the things going on at Matic Network in this tough situation, how is the team. So, just would like to take this opportunity to reassure everyone that we have taken all the precautions at our end, and our complete team is safe and sound. The best part is that our team is expanding very rapidly. There are around 7 to 8 people who has joined our team in last 1 or 2 weeks. We are expanding very rapidly on that front, and also on the activities front, obviously this situation hampers a lot of activities. Like we had we had a Google developer meetup planned at our Matic Network, Matic Haveli, our Matic office. So that postponed, but now we are looking at how we can do it virtually. There were many events. I mean, at our office, we keep on doing a lot of events. We do Ethereum series also. So those events are not happening. But what we are doing, we are utilizing this opportunity, and we have started Matic Masterclass, where in one of the episodes Sandeep came and he talked on different aspects. Our CEO JD also came and he talked on different aspects. Now we are yesterday we had a panel discussions, and we invited four of the best game, I would say best games, like Battle Races was there, Chain Guardians was there, some bigger games waiting on Matic for discussion on different topics. So we have started this initiative, and it has been traction. And just want to mention this, that what I feel that after the COVID-19 situations, when I am personally locked up in a house, same as with other people at Matic also, our efficiency has improved. I feel is that we are shipping more after this COVID-19 situation happened. So yeah, the mainnet is coming, and considering that all the team is highly motivated and giving out their best, giving out 100% of each and every individual.
And I return the actual same sentiment, man. I hope that everybody is staying safe and healthy on your team, not only in your team, but everybody in India and all around the world, man. We're all in this together. We're all human beings. This virus affects us all. So, I mean, this is a good chance for us to self-evaluate, look at ourselves, look at our lives. The world's on pause, and we have a chance to kind of come out of this as refreshed new people with new vision and new meaning and new purpose. So I definitely encourage people to be that change. And I'm going to have links down below for everything we talked about, including so people can check out and do some more research on the Matic Network, and also watch that first interview I did with Sandeep. And we're going to definitely have to schedule a follow-up. So if you can hold on for me 1 second, Chandresh. What I'm going to say is, ladies and gentlemen, if this is your first time ever checking out any of my content, please be sure to explore my channel. If you like what I'm doing, you can support me by subscribing, liking, commenting, and sharing. If you're watching this on LBRY, give me a follow. And as always, I encourage you to be the change by practicing change. And I love you all.